Hi, I'm Margaret Chen. I'm an organist and I teach music history. My topic is about Mozart in Salzburg. If we wanted to travel again, say we wanted to go to a music festival this summer, if we can travel, and say we want to go to Salzburg, you will find out that Salzburg is Mozart town. There's a big statue of Mozart in the town square. There's a big yellow house in the main square that says Mozart Geburtshaus, which means this is where Mozart was born, his birth house. But you know, Mozart was not very happy in Salzburg. Part of the reason was his unhappy employment. He was hoping at the age of 17, after touring all over Europe with his father and his sister, he thought he would get a huge job in Vienna. But he didn't get it, so he had to go back to his hometown. But if Mozart didn't like Salzburg, you wouldn't know from the music that he wrote at that period, because the music that he wrote was enthusiastic and happy and vivacious and charming and very, very skillful, even though he was only 17 years old. In letters to family and friends, Mozart would write, "I hate Salzburg. There is nothing going on in there. There is not a penny's worth of stimulation. It's as if the audience consisted of nothing but tables and chairs." And sometimes he would say, "Salzburg is no place for my talent. I don't want to have anything to do with Salzburg anymore." Why was this? Mozart wanted to write operas. He had a very early successful opera called La Finta Giardiniera. But there was no opera theater in Salzburg. It had closed. By 1781, he had a first masterpiece, Idomeneo, and it premiered in Munich to much acclaim. But there was no opera house in Salzburg for him to stage anything like that. By 1776, he was already getting a reputation for composing and performing his own piano concertos. He would conduct the orchestra, and then he would be the featured soloist. And then he would conduct a couple more symphonies, and then he would play another piano concerto. He was very, very popular that way. And in Vienna, later on, he did make a lot of money. But we're still in Salzburg. And so the first symphony that I'm going to talk about is the Symphony number 25, K183, which Mozart wrote at the beginning of his employment in Salzburg. So he was looking forward to a good, fruitful engagement, employment. The Archbishop had just ascended the throne, and he had just hired Mozart as his court musician. So here's Mozart at age 17, writing a young, astonishingly skillful work, sort of in celebration of what is to come. So it's very trendy. At the beginning of the first movement, he has this syncopated figure that goes ta-da, ta-ta, ta. So it is anticipatory, it's exciting, it's looking forward to something. And then the theme is actually a Mannheim rocket. And then, for a contrast, the second theme is very delicate and very dance-like. It shows tremendous originality, it shows impeccable skill, and it shows great promise. And I think, what was I doing at 17? I can't even remember. August of 1777, Mozart tried to resign. He didn't want anything to do with Salzburg, so he handed in his resignation letter, and he thought that surely he can find a job somewhere else. But he didn't. So he had to come back to Salzburg, and in the meantime, his father had micromanaged everything, and his father managed to get him a little raise and managed to get him a few more important positions in the Archbishop's court. So he was now organist also, and he was now concertmaster, and his salary had tripled. His salary was now 450 florins. So it was a little bit better, but it was not what he wanted. I think the shoe dropped because in 1781, when he premiered his opera Idomeneo in Munich, and he wanted to perform for the emperor in Vienna, Colloredo said no. So finally, in 1781, Mozart said, "Forget you, I'm leaving." Just before Mozart left Salzburg, at the last summer of his employment in Salzburg, he wrote one more symphony, and Symphony number 34, K338. And this symphony is full of actually cliches. If you listen to it, you think, why is he doing this? He's got this big fanfare, trumpets and timpani blaring, and you think maybe he is laughing at the pomp and circumstance in Colloredo's court. I don't know, yeah? But in his hands, what seems like a cliche becomes skillful and becomes, it's lifted up, it's elevated. If you listen to the second movement of this work, it is airy, it is like a nocturne, it is delicate, it's like a romance, it's tender. For me, I think this is one of Mozart's most beautiful second movements. Let me quote Mitsuko Uchida. "Whenever I play Mozart, something happens to me, to the music and to the public. It is the emotional world of his, but it is so pure that it becomes the emotional world of every human living who has ever loved. As we enter the second year of our pandemic, let us embrace this pure and love-emanated emotional world of Mozart."